I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Hey, it's Nate with another piano tutorial. Today we're gonna do the classic What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong. This is such a beautiful, optimistic song, and sometimes you just need a reminder. Anyway, I'm gonna teach you a great piano accompaniment for the vocals, and I'm gonna be basing it off the arpeggio that the acoustic guitar plays on the recording, but I'm gonna teach you all the underlying chords so you can keep it as simple as you need to play and sing it together. Let's just jump in. All right, so let's start out with the intro. The chords here are pretty simple. That'll be a good way to dive in and go over all the rhythms you're gonna need, and then we can apply that to the verses. I definitely recommend getting the chords and lyrics chart. You can get the link down in the description. That'll help you follow along and see where all the chords you play line up with the words. And there are some kind of unusual jazzy chords in this song. They might look a little intimidating on paper, but none of them are super hard to physically play. Anyway, here's the chord progression for that intro. First, we're going to have an F major chord. So that's just going to be F, A, C in the right hand, all white notes. With our pinky in the left hand, we can just do a single bass note on F. We're going to be doing a lot of bass notes just on the note that the chord is named after. So in that case, an F. Next, we have a G minor over F. The slash means what comes after the slash is the bass note. So we're actually going to stay on F in the left hand while the right hand steps up to this G minor chord. So that's going to be a G, a B flat, and a D. Next, we've got an F major 7. So still F in the left hand, and the right hand's going to do A, C, E, all white notes. And then we've got another G minor over F, so the right hand just kind of steps back down. And we're in 6/8 time, so each one of these measures gets 6 counts, and we're feeling it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Counting it that way is going to really help with the arpeggio in a moment. But with just the counting, just holding out the chords, it would sound like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. While we're here, let's learn that arpeggio. But again, as I mentioned, if you find it easiest to learn the whole song without doing the arpeggio, you can totally skip that part. But I'll go over it now. Basically, you're going to start each measure by hitting that left-hand note on beat 1 of the 6 possible counts in the measure. And then every single one of those 6 counts is going to get played on. And we're going to just skip up the right-hand notes and back down. That adds up to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice I'm just kind of holding the left-hand note that whole time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe as you get the hang of it, just loop it on that F a few times. Don't worry about the chord changes. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can take it nice and slow at first, but once you start getting the hang of it, you'll get some muscle memory there. It'll just kind of click in. Once you get that, you can try it with the changes. One final note there is one of the reasons it sounds smooth when I'm playing it here is I'm holding down the sustain pedal. I'm just doing a quick little lift every time the chord changes, so on each new measure, just so that things don't get too muddy. If you need help timing your pedal lifts, I made a video all about that, so you can check that out. So that intro just runs right into the verse. That last measure of the intro, I see trees of green. Then we're in that verse. So let's go over all the chords for the first verse. So here's the first line here. And throughout this whole song, most chords last one measure. It makes it easy to count. There's, I think, one exception. Anyway, it starts off with that F major. Same thing that we had in the intro. Now we've got this A minor, so the left hand's going to step up to an A bass note here with the third finger, and all you have to do to that F chord to turn it into an A minor is just drop that thumb down to E. Sounds really nice there. The B flat is going to be a similar inversion to this, so you can just step up to the second finger on the B flat in the left hand, and then the right hand's going to be doing F, B flat, D, and then of course right back down to A minor. Let's look at that next line too. That one was pretty easy. We're going to step down to a G minor now. So just like the G minor you did in the intro, except for now we're actually doing that G bass note, fourth finger in the left hand, down to F for a measure, same as before. Then we've got this A7, so we're going to go back to an A bass note, third finger in the left hand, and the right hand's going to do G, D flat, and E. Then after that, we've got a D minor. You can just stretch your left hand thumb up to this D here, and we'll do A, D, F there. So far with the singing, if I'm just going to hold out the chords, which is totally a legit way to play this cover, it's going to be, I see trees of green, red roses too, I see them bloom for me and you. Okay, here's the best part, I think. This is the exception to the rule where this is going to last 2 measures, and I'm glad it does because it's such a satisfying chord. Think to myself. So that is a D flat major chord. Let's put the next line up there on the screen. So we've got D flat in the left hand, and then we've got a flat, D flat again, and a F in the right hand. Think to myself for 2 measures. I'm going to add a little bit more color to that chord, but we'll get to that after we get through. After those measures of D flat, we've got a G minor 7. So it's going to look like that. G in the left hand, then we've got G, B flat, and a little bit of a stretch here up to the F to get that minor 7 sound. Next, we've got this C7. For the C7, we, of course, need to get up to this C bass note. And then the only thing that actually is going to change in the right hand is that F is going to step down to the E. So we've got G, B flat, E for that C7. Then for the fourth line, we have this kind of weird little turnaround. All 3 verses have the same 3 first lines, and then from the fourth line, it's a little different. So this time, it is F, just like we've been doing it. Then this B7 flat 5. It's kind of a weird chord. It sounds weird too. It sounds a little nicer when we do the arpeggio on it, but that's going to be B, and then the right hand's going to do F, A, and E flat. Next, we've got this B flat major 7, so the left hand's going to step down to a B flat bass note. These 2 notes can stay the same, and we'll just take this pinky down to a D here. So F, A, D. Then finally, back to the C7, so the left hand can just step up to the C bass note, and then the right hand just needs to come up a little bit for the G, B flat, E, just like we did before. So from that third line, just blocking out the chords, it's going to be, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue. So that would be starting the second verse. Okay, I'm going to play and sing the whole verse, and I'm going to add that arpeggio back in. It's just going to work the exact same way we did it in the intro. We're just going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, change chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same pattern every time. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. gray skies. Cool. Okay, before we keep cruising through this, I want to give you a couple of options to decorate that D flat chord. As I was saying, it is such a satisfying chord, and why not make it even more satisfying? So the core of that chord is a D flat major, but between the electric guitar and also the strings, like the orchestra on the recording, there's some other notes that come into play on it. There's a ninth and a sharp 11. These different instruments kind of weave through those notes a little bit, and they add such a cool color to it. So I'm going to try to work them in to what I'm already doing. The easiest way and first step would be to add that 9, which is going to be an E flat. So it would sound like this. Just basically 1, 2, 3, and on that fourth beat where you would hit just the F before, you can just add in that E flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Also, there is this G in there sometimes, which is really cool. The way I'm going to incorporate that is after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, when we go around for the second measure, when I hit the left hand on beat 1, as I hit that, I'm just going to hit the E flat up here and the G. And then from there, I'm just going to finish up the arpeggio as it would have been. So like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is totally optional if you feel like you're able to add that part, but not that fancy moment there. You know, whatever works, but I'm going to be throwing that in because it just sounds so cool. Okay, so let's look at the second verse. Like I said, it is basically the same thing, just different words. First 3 lines, the exact same. But then when we get to after, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. This part's a little different. It's actually a little bit easier as we kind of get ready for the bridge. So that is just a measure. We've got the F, as you would have expected. Then it goes to this G minor over F, just like we did in the intro. And then it actually stays on that for a second measure and then back to the F. Cool, let's just keep going. And of course, at the end, I'm going to play everything through. So if you have any confusion about how it all flows together, you can watch my cover. Let's do the bridge. So here's the first line of the bridge, and you're going to do it twice. Notice that all the bass notes are C. Left hand's just going to kind of hang out on C for a little while. First, we've got a G minor over C. Then we've got a C7. Now, for this C7, we're going to do it a little differently. We've been doing it like that. We're going to do it like that. So just G, B flat, and C. Then we've got this F major 7 over C, which we can do like this. So it's going to be F, A, with kind of a big stretch up to E. You could totally just do an F chord there if that's too much of a stretch. And actually, I think the guitar that we've been basing this off of actually does just an F here, both this measure and that next measure, the F6. But there is like a vibraphone or something that adds the major 7. So I think it sounds cool to do. Anyway, I'm getting a little too in the weeds here. You can either do that or that. I'm going to do that. So F, A, E, and then for this F6 over C, of course, we're still doing the C here, and you can just drop the top note down to D. So with the arpeggio, that's going to sound like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, it repeats that a second time. Then we've got this next line. We've got a D minor chord. We can do that just like we've been doing it. Actually, because we're in a second in this next measure, we have to step up to the E. I'm going to move my second finger in the left hand to do that D bass note. So A, D, F, So we've got that. Now we've got this C/E or C over E. So like I said, the thumb is just going to step up to this E note, and the right hand's going to move down just a hair to do this nice inversion of a C major chord. That's going to be G, C, E. And it's just going to go back and forth between those two chords a couple times. Notice the shape actually in the right hand just stays the same for all that. Final line of the bridge starts with this D minor again. Now we're gonna go down to an F sharp bass note with the pinky because we're gonna do this F sharp diminished chord. Notice from the D minor to this chord, our thumb in the right hand can stay on that A. It's a really tense moment, but of course it's gonna resolve with a G minor 7, just like we were doing it before, and then a C7, back to the way we were doing the C7 in the verses. I'm going to play and sing that whole bridge through, and I'm going to add that arpeggio. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. So of course then we are in verse 3. Okay, so for verse 3, this is the final verse, and just like the first two verses, the first 3 lines are the same, and then we have kind of a different 4th line, and actually a 5th line, which is going to be kind of like a little outro almost. So taking it from the 3rd line, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. So that's starting the 4th line. Just like the other times, it goes to the F there, but immediately we have some different stuff here. I'm actually going to move my hand, maybe start with my 3rd finger here in the left hand, because we're going to start stepping down actually. So we've got this F, then we've got this E flat 9 chord. Of course, the left hand's going to step down to an E flat here, and the right hand can do G, D flat, and F. Next, we've got a D9. We can actually just move down chromatically. Every single note here just steps down to the nearest key below it. So left hand goes down to a D. This G goes down to an F sharp. This D flat goes down to a C. And this F goes down to E. Then we've got this D7 flat 9. The only thing that changes there is this E steps down to an E flat. Let me step through that one more time. So from the F, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, E flat 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, D9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, D7 flat 9, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just note that here this tempo kind of slows down. You can kind of drag it out here a little bit. Then we've got G minor 7, just like we've been doing. Then we've got C7 flat 9. So of course we're going to go to a C bass note. These two notes stay the same, and we're going to have a D flat in there too. Really cool chord. So that's G, B flat, D flat. We've got F. Then we can go up to this B flat 6. So that's B flat, D, F, G. While the left hand does the B flat. And then back to F, but to finish the song out, this is the final moment, I'm going to land on an F that's an octave higher than we've been doing. Okay, I'm going to play through starting from that 3rd line on the D flat. Notice I'm going to do the arpeggio and I'm going to carry it through until we get to that D7 flat 9, at which point I'm just going to start holding chords out. Getting kind of quiet, like I said, slowing down. You could even do like a little bit of sort of dramatic, fast little, just playing with arpeggios a little bit. You can just keep it loose. Anyway, I'll show you what I mean. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I myself, what a wonderful world. Oh yeah. And then the song is over. All right, thank you for sticking with me. I am now going to do a full cover. I'll play through the whole song so you can see how it all fits together. If you enjoyed this, please do subscribe. Click the little bell so you'll know whenever I put out more videos like this. Give the video a like and let me know in the comments what songs you want to see next, and have a poke around my channel. I have lots of videos, so you might find some other ones that you want to learn as well. Anyway, here's my version of What a Wonderful World. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I hear babies cry, I watch them grow, they'll learn much more than I'll ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful I think to myself, what a wonderful